Here is the doorway to the Greenfield Village. Y'all gonna love this. Hey, good morning. This time, what we're about to take a look at is the original farmhouse where Henry Ford grew up. He bought the place, tore it down brick by brick, was a big cornerstone of the Greenfield Village here. Alright, so check this out. This is the original building brought from Dayton, Ohio, here to Greenfield Village. This was the original Wright Brothers cycle shop. They had 6 or 7 buildings, but this particular one is the one that they actually built the airplane in. And so there's some tools and some pieces in the back of this that are really cool. So let's check this out. This is the Wright Cycle Company original building. So we're in the backside of the Wright Brothers cycle shop. It's actually where they built all of their bikes, but they also, when they made a bunch of money from the bikes, they chose their passion of trying to fly. And so back here in this machine shop where they built their cycles, they also built sections of the airplane and then shipped it to Kitty Hawk. So you're about to see machinery and tools and a section of wing at the backside of the Wright Brothers cycle shop. Check it out. This is the home of H.J. Heinz, and this is where his recipes were created in Pennsylvania. You probably are wondering what recipes. Well, that would be Heinz ketchup, mustard, all that good stuff, you know, the condiments. But interestingly enough, the first thing he created here was horseradish. Who knew? Just next door to the Wright Brothers cycle shop, it's actually the home where they lived with their sister in Dayton, Ohio. This is just an old post office. I had 2 grannies that were postmasters, so I was just thinking of both of them today. Thought I'd throw this in the video. This next section is the Menlo Park area from New Jersey that Ford brought to Greenfield. Thomas Edison's workshop and a couple different things are there. I also took a moment here to slow down and let you just kind of see the feel for things, how laid back the area is. A couple Model Ts and a little bus and such going by. Hopefully you enjoy it. Interesting fact here about the Menlo Park area. New Jersey said that should never sit anywhere but except on New Jersey soil. So Henry Ford took, I believe, 6 train loads full of topsoil from New Jersey, threw it on the ground there in Michigan, and put Menlo Park back together.
So in
1877, Thomas Edison hears a noise coming from the laboratory upstairs. Thinks it's somebody talking to him. He goes around looking for who that is how the story goes, and discovers that it's a machine that we actually have upstairs. It is a recording telegraph machine that he sells to Western Union in 1877. He sells the patent to it. But they're testing it, and something about the vibrations to his hearing loss is perceived as somebody talking. So he takes that and comes up with an idea that it's the vibration coming off that machine, and they know that sound is vibration. But he kind of internalizes this in some way, and develops from that an idea. And the first iteration of this, we're told, is that he's going to take a cone of paper, he's going to tape a needle to it, he's going to talk into it, drag it past a piece of wax paper, and it's going to make a pattern on it that you can tell is from the voice. But there's no way to play it back, and that's kind of important. When we talk about Thomas Edison's phonograph, we talk about it being the first machine to record and play back sound, because someone had patented a machine to record sound prior to that, right? But being able to play it back is kind of important when you record something, right? And so what he does is really pretty simple. This is a sort of demonstration model of the functional pieces of the phonograph. So there's a megaphone, there's a diaphragm, and there's a needle or a stylus that's screwed onto that diaphragm right in the center. When I speak into this, then the vibration comes down the megaphone and vibrates that diaphragm. The diaphragm vibrates the needle. One of the key things that makes the difference between that cone of paper is this diaphragm. The diaphragm makes the needle go in and out or up and down depending on which way you push it or you're holding it. But it gives direction to that needle. It also gives it a little bit of emphasis. It acts as a lever, and so it gives it a little more vibration than otherwise. So you can feel the vibration coming off of the needle right there. So the vibration coming off of my voice is the vibration he's going to record into the tin foil. Now tin's kind of a special thing. Tin does not harden when it bends. You want to feel the vibration coming off of that? So by not getting brittle, not hardening, it's not likely to tear as much as other metals. So often when we talk about tin foil, we're talking about aluminum, right? In this case, it's actual tin. And so it's kind of rare, actually, these days. Back then, he was using it for all sorts of things. So the vibration coming off of that is recorded onto the foil. And if I back this up just a little bit more. Wrong way. So you'll see when I push this in, it's pressing up against the foil. It's going to make a little channel there in the ridges, in between the ridges there. So that doesn't have any vibration to it. So it doesn't have that fuzzy look the other ones do. But if I turn this, and I'll try to guess just how fast it was turned before, but this should be Ben back there saying, "Mary had a little lamb." We'll see how he did. That wasn't very good. We'll try. I know that Brendan's is a little bit better than that, so let's see what we get there. So I'm going to move to the next track. A little bit more difficult than our standard record player. All right, let's see how this one does. So there you go. Mary had a little lamb. So it's just vibration.
Yep.
We're basically just making the needle attached to the diaphragm vibrate the same way it did when somebody talked into it in the first place. All right, so we know that making the vibration happen, that's what makes that little sign there silly. It says that it can play back any known language, right? Of course, we know that it's just vibration. It's just sound. It doesn't really matter if you're saying words or not. It'll reproduce it.
Very cool. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
How are y'all doing today?
Good. You?
Not too bad. So,
Awesome.
lovely day at the village compared to the heat yesterday. So.
Yeah. We got lucky on which day we came.
Oh yeah, it's a nice quiet day here too.
Right,
So.
right.
But anything sticking out to anybody? I know there's a lot up here.
I was curious about I think I know what it is, but the chair there.
Oh, the chair.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to ask about that. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing special happened in that chair. That was put there for Thomas Edison to sit in while his assistant did all of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the opening of Greenfield Village, October 21st, 1929, Edison came here to the reconstructed Menlo Park Lab Complex, and he brought his assistant Francis Yale with him. Now, they were recreating that initial experiment 50 years previously that quote-unquote perfected that incandescent light bulb. Though,
Gotcha.
if you'd ask Edison, he'd say that thing was never perfected. He would have loved LEDs today because they are so much more efficient in terms of light sources. Incandescent light bulbs are better sources of heat than light. So Edison would have loved LEDs.
Right,
but
right.
Edison was sitting in that chair while Francis Yale, his assistant, was operating the sprinkler machine over here, doing all of the work. And so this is what was utilized to create the light bulbs, basically. And so you have your bulb in here like so. You got the large end on the bottom. And notice the dimple on the top of those right there, those ones that are actually lit. That would be a tube that extends another couple of inches out, and it's open on that bottom too. So you got an opening on the top and an opening on the bottom. You take your filament, connect it to your wires, you put that in through the skinny end right here, and then you cork that off, you seal it off. No air can get in or out from that side now. Next thing you do, you take your mercury, which I'm sure we all have, you pour it down this funnel right here. And that travels through the tube system here, and it creates a vacuum in here. And that sucks the rest of the air out of the light bulb. So after you have your air sufficiently sucked out of your bulb, pinch that off right there, and you have your light bulb. When they were first starting out doing this, that entire process from start to beginning, from the initial blowing of the glass to pinching off that dimple at the end right there, 10 and 16 hours. That's how long it took for a single light bulb, between 10 and 16 hours. And so they didn't spend between 10 and 16 hours here back when the village was moved, or when the Menlo Park Lab Complex was moved to the village.
Right.
It was Francis Yale pouring the mercury in and whatnot, creating that vacuum, and then making that light bulb glow, basically. And Edison was just kind of sitting there. And so Henry Ford said, after everybody left but him, he called up one of his men and he said, nail that chair to the floor. Nobody's ever going to sit in that chair again, and nobody's ever going to move that chair. And so the chair gets nailed to the floor. A year later, though, Helen Keller comes to Greenfield Village. Henry Ford allows her to sit in Edison's chair.
Very cool.
I wish the story stopped there, but since that, curators have sat in it, presenters have sat in it. It's been moved. If you look close enough, it's not even nailed to the floor anymore. I mean, we used to have people here who would demonstrate that it was nailed to the floor by shaking it.
Oh, that's
They shook the nails out of the chair. So, I mean, truly, at the end of the day, it is a chair that a man sat in for a couple of hours while he watched another guy do some work. So,
sounds like government work,
the
doesn't it?
chair isn't special, but I mean, we can all take the example of the guy who sat in the chair. Here at Greenfield Village, the Henry Ford, we wholeheartedly believe that Thomas Edison was an ordinary man. He was an ordinary man who did extraordinary things. We can all do those same extraordinary things. Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And You know, even he said it's about the work that you put into it. It's not about being born with some special brain or anything. We're all wired the same at the end of the day. We can all do those same things, that same caliber of thing. I mean, nobody can reinvent the, you know, incandescent light bulb because it's already been invented. You know, maybe in a million years after some apocalypse happens, they'll find a way to do it again. But, you know, as of right now where we are, we can do that same caliber thing that Edison did. We just have to be determined enough to go for it. So the chair is not special, but it can teach us something kind of cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, this is a boarding house owned by Sarah Jordan. It's basically really close to the Menlo Park area where Edison had everything. Or maybe in Florida, I'm not sure. I'll look at this on in a second. But this is one of the first homes in the world to have electricity. So it's really cool that it's here. Basically, this was for the employees of Edison. As a Kentuckian, this is really cool. Behind me is the Logan County Courthouse, which was located in Illinois. And the Kentucky-born president, Mr. Abraham Lincoln, this is the very building that he practiced law in.
Welcome to Kentucky.
If you like what you saw there, let us know in the comments below. Go ahead and throw a like on it if you want. Share it. Why not? Sharing is caring, right? Until next time, see ya.